Buddy, you're a team on the rise, sharing knowledge every day, preserving wisdom in the cloud, never letting it fade away. You got insights on your mind, big plans for the crew. Sensei's gonna capture it all someday. We will, Sensei you. We will, Sensei you. Buddy, you're a new high, feeling lost, asking questions in the hall. Chatbot's got the answers now, lifting you up tall. You got handovers in your hand, fast ramp up coming through. Sensei's gonna empower you someday. We will, Sensei you. We will, Sensei you. We will, Sensei you. We will, Sensei you. Feel the peace, the joy, the fall. Home or lost, just growth, we know. Buddy, you're a leader, saving costs, boosting efficiency high. Knowledge base is locked and secure under the endless sky. You got the world in your grasp, emotions running true. Sensei's adding value all someday. We will, Sensei you. 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 Sing it out. Buddy, you're a team on the rise, sharing knowledge every day, preserving wisdom in the cloud, never letting it fade away.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's Sensay Community Call. I'm Dan Thompson, the founder and CEO here at Sensay, and I'm here today to answer some of your top questions. For those who are new to Sensay, Sensay creates chatbots that are hyper-personalized, that's essentially working towards building virtual humans and digital immortality in a way that is very Black Mirror, Altered Carbon, very science fiction, if you like. But what we do is we essentially take your experience, your stories, your knowledge, your messages, your history, and deploy that directly as a chatbot that thinks like you, acts like you, sounds like you, looks like you. What that means is that in the future, when you've got to make hard decisions, when you just don't have the time or the resources to handle everything that you're doing, having a resource that's there that can essentially fill in the gap and actually, become like a perfect personal assistant for you is going to just save everyone so much time and effort when AI is going to be just taking over loads of stuff. But imagine that AI has your personal preferences, understanding the way that you would do something, so that it knows everything about you and can act on your behalf. So that's what we're working towards in the long term. In the short term, we've been working on a huge range of business products and features as a way of helping executives, businesses to increase their sales, to improve their customer support and their community management as well. Today, we actually only have a very short community call, only because we have a huge announcement coming out on Monday, which, please be ready for. We've been working on this for the last 4 months. Extremely proud to see how far it's come along, and so we're very, very excited to start sharing that with you. And we'll be launching it at Web Summit in Lisbon next week. So If you do have any questions today, though, please do ask them via Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you might be watching, and we will answer as many as we can as I go through the call today. But like I said, it's going to be very, 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 very short, relatively speaking. Um, if the questions aren't necessarily showing up, then we can also take questions via our official Telegram group. So please do fire over any questions that you might have for us today. If you're interested in working with Sensei a bit more and actually looking into more of what we do, the website is at sensei.io. You can go to at our Sensei on pretty much every single channel that you can imagine, and we will have some kind of presence there where you can either interact with myself or with any of our marketing team or our community team, or you can find my own personal socials at Sensei Dan. Um, we've had an interesting couple of weeks. Obviously, we're working towards this big product launch next week. So we've been extremely like sort of busy, heads down, building. The team's been just pushing through um, uh, at unbelievable speed. The actual development and quality, it's a few hundred issues per week as what they've been actually working through to actually get this product live and ready on time. And so, as much as I wish we could actually tease it and demo it today, you should have to wait until Monday. Um, since last week, apart from that, we've been pushing out quite a few good announcements. Unfortunately, to be just clear and open and frank, obviously the market has not been the best for a lot of projects out there. A lot of people out there are having a bit of a hard time with how to deal with the drop in general crypto market, but also the individual sort of altcoins and token prices. And I think that's been a big issue across the board and ourselves as well. We really think that with our new product launch and with our new opportunity, that we can actually start turning that around and start pushing the marketing back into token, actually helping to support price, support the followers and community to ensure that we actually have something that to be proud of for the short, medium, and long term. If there are any particular questions around that, then we'd be more than happy to bring them up and talk about them. If not, what we can do is we can actually go through and share some of the more recent updates that Sensei's had as a whole, because I think there's a lot to kind of talk about over the last few weeks. But obviously, with a um, with a down market, it becomes extremely difficult for any sort of project to really be pushing out positivity right now. In my personal view, I think this is a bit of it's an excellent opportunity, as a bit of a dip, not just for our own project, but for the market in general. Um, my personal indicators and belief is that we'll actually see new all-time highs in the coming few months. Even though there are, obviously the wider concerns out there around difficulty and what's been going on. But today we will go through a bit of a recap of what's been actually happening in the past week. So what I'll do is I guess I can start sharing out some of the recent updates and what's been actually happening. That was the wrong one. Good. We're starting to see some questions coming through. So yeah, guys, if you do ask questions in the comments on Twitter, LinkedIn, or YouTube, we will see them. We'll bring some of them up shortly. But for now, just kind of show you what's been happening in the recent weeks. We've got, obviously Mexico Tech Week. We had two of our developers come join, Mateo and Panayotis. They were over here with me to actually explore, build partnerships and build new relationships, as well as get involved in the latest technology from across the space. We've been looking into new problems around knowledge loss, new problems around how knowledge and data is stored, and how essentially these hyper-personalized chatbots can actually help companies to prevent that going forward, right? So we're looking at these incredible solutions to actually some of the biggest problems out there at the moment. Despite Mexico Tech Week, we're also at TechCrunch Disrupt, and there's the UKG Aspire in Vegas this week before Lisbon, before we're in Lisbon for Web Summit next week. But like I said, we've been exploring quite a lot to do with the actual company life cycle of an individual and how our business products can actually help them. Last week, for anyone who was here, we actually announced the hackathon highlights, and we talked about the winners. We had Michele, one of our lead developers, on who actually helped to explain why certain products win our hackathons and how you can get involved in the future. Um, we had a big recap post, so please do check out Twitter at some point. And as we've kind of been talking about, we've got this big, massive launch coming up just in on the 10th of November in 5 days' time. So definitely put that in your calendars around 1 p.m. UTC and check out what we've been working on for so long. Um, and that brings us basically back up to today. Uh, Looks like we've got a few questions starting to come through now, so I guess we can start pulling up a few of these to handle. We got Sensei is currently all-time low. I know the BlackRock scam affected the market greatly. How does the team intend to come back from it? We need Sensei back. I agree. I'm not so sure it's about the BlackRock scam. I think there was. I think there have been a lot of different market factors that have been sort of swirling around for a while now, and I guess a lot of fear. So, based on a few OG group chats that I'm in, there's been quite a lot of conversation around the whole idea that anything above 100K Bitcoin, for example, and anything above what was it 4K ETH really was a great opportunity for people who have held on to their tokens for such a long time to start to exit. So this is basically anyone who's been in the space from 2013, 14, 15, 16. And there are still quite a few people out there who have not really moved tokens since that time as a target. 100K per Bitcoin is an incredible target to hit. I remember 2017 when you had uh, John McAfee calling out for 500K per Bitcoin, but most people were just saying they'd be happy with 100K. Obviously, it was huge at the time when Bitcoin was back down around. I think it just topped out at 17K or something as as a big thing at the end of 2017. So I even remember that as being the key point. So when it comes to people, de-risking themselves right now, there's a lot of fear out there. Gold at an all-time high is a big indicator. Stocks seem to be quite heavily overpriced. You've got, Michael Burry, the famous guy from the 2008 real estate crash, calling out against companies like Palantir and having massive um, bets against them. So there's a lot of concern out there, unemployment risks, and plenty of indicators that are causing a lot of concern in wider markets. So of course, when crypto is a bit more of a liquid asset, that does become a an issue. That's the wider macro opinion, and I think that it becomes a bit of a shakeout. So we might see Bitcoin drop down to 95, down to 90K before it springs back up to potentially all-time highs and new all-time highs, in my opinion. So I think there's still probably a bit more pain to go, but then I think there's going to be a lot of positiveness coming up. In terms of why this affected Sensei a bit harder, there was that wider market shift combined with a big scare around MEXC over the last week. So MEXC is our primary centralized exchange. It is a lot more secure than it used to be. 5 years ago or even 3 years ago, MEXC was seen as quite a bit of a dodgy exchange to be on. But the MEXC's come a long way in that time, so we're confident that they're the right centralized exchange for us with one of the broadest reaches out there. But they did have a big liquidity scare this week when lots of people were pulling out, and they handled it perfectly. So with that, we saw a big sort of sell off of the token as well, but we expect to recover just fine. So thanks for the question. Look, it's a concern and it's something that I wanted to address today. So that's why we're here, and always happy to talk about that anytime about what we can do to improve. But right now, we've got this massive product launch coming out next week. We're focusing on the business fundamentals and how we can actually start generating sufficient revenues to start enabling buybacks of the token to actually help push the token price up. On to the next question. Can Sensei connect to my social media accounts? So yeah, there are ways to connect it to your Telegram, Discord to create a bot. You can also have via Sensei or via one of our partners connect it directly to your Twitter account to help you post, or to LinkedIn, or have it draft your emails. So fundamentally, yes, Sensei has a way, and if not, you can always build your own integrations via our API. So the API you can find at docs.sensei.io for all the information there, where you can generate a your own organization and how you can actually use that to post in whichever way you would actually want to connect to different people, different software. So we have some integrations already live on the web app, but the API enables you to build out anything different. All right, let's keep it going. Submitted a bug recently, but still no response. Is the bug bounty program still on? Yes, Crypto Gem. Thank you for being a part of the bug bounty program. Look, if you submitted a bug bounty, we have plenty of bug bounties that you can find on our website as well. Just go to sensor.io, and if you scroll down the footer, I think it's just /bug bounty. The correct address is bug dash bounty. We'll share it here in a second. But yeah, if you do happen to find any bugs, we have rewards for this on our website, so you can actually participate. The bug bounties are still live. If you haven't heard a response, that's not uncommon, because we do these the bug reviews every few weeks. If it has been like over 3 weeks, I'd say, and you haven't heard anything, good or bad, then please maybe just follow up with an email or pop us a message in Telegram or Discord, or Twitter, and we'll be able to actually have a look for you and see what's been missing there. But for any white hat hackers out there who would actually like to start earning some rewards, we've paid out everything from $100 to $10,000 for bug bounties before. So there are big opportunities to find big problems with our site and get rewarded for participating in that. If it is an issue we already knew about, we're very fair about it. If there is an issue we already knew about it, then unfortunately it won't get paid, or being reported by someone else first. Unfortunately, that the reward will go to them. But we do have bug bounties available for any issues you can find on our site to help us improve. All right. What Arewa. Looking forward to the start of the Christmas Quest campaign. When should we expect announcements? So, yes, me too. Christmas is coming, and we will be running like every year our annual Christmas competition, and most likely you'll see some announcements next week alongside the big product launch. So, big product launch is on Monday. And probably by Wednesday or Thursday, announcements about the Quest campaign will start. This will give everyone 4 weeks in the run up to Christmas to participate, earn points, and get rewarded as part of the next big substantial Sensei prize pool. It'll probably be somewhere around about $10,000 worth of Sensei. So there's a huge opportunity to be a part of that, and it looks like we should be bringing in some partners and some really interesting quests for that around this new product. So yeah, keep your eyes out next week, and we'll definitely have a chance to talk about the Christmas campaign sometime next week. When can we expect a sneak peek? The teasers have been teasing. Yes. So I don't want to give it away right now. You can probably start to figure out something along the lines of what we'll be doing, just by if you really like read between the lines of some of the recent posts. But the especially when we start looking at what the problem is that we're actually trying to solve, and there's a big difference there where if this is the first major product that we have that's directly solving a direct issue and directly solving an issue that costs companies tens of billions of dollars every single year. And so it's a huge opportunity for us. It's a huge opportunity for our technology, and yeah, we're super excited to show everyone what we've been working on, and as well share it with the 100,000 people that come to Web Summit in Lisbon. So we'll have a booth for the 3 days on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. product launch will be on Monday, and yeah, we'll be showing it to thousands and thousands of people at Web Summit all next week. So I'm sorry I can't give you more of a teaser than that, but it's going to be a huge launch. All right, what have we got next? Have you imagined us installing our knowledge bases in Tesla robots like Tesla Sensei Collab? So someone asked us last week as well. In the future, I definitely see the possibility that robotics play a major part in supporting the domestic life. Maybe not like the one we saw launched last week, where it was operated by people in different countries. Um, but definitely robotics that can actually automate tasks and help things in the future, it's going to go a long way. And I think that as a part of that, we need to have personalization because everyone has a way of doing things they prefer. So the personalization really has to come into it. And so by adding these personalized AI that we can actually build with Sensei into robotics, maybe partnering with Tesla, maybe partnering with smaller robotics first. When we get around to that, when we go back to the B2C options, then it will become a possibility, yes, for the future that Sensei could actually be providing almost like the AI brains behind some of the robotics to um, give them some personality. Um, okay, right. What's the next question? Um, from Bunabo Lewis. How does Sensei handle user data and privacy when interacting with the AI? So we're fully compliant with GDPR, with uh, SOC 2, and with PDPA in Singapore. So essentially, we have different policies in place to handle data and make sure that the user data is kept private and available and deleted as and when requested and needed. So we are making sure that privacy and security is a top concern for us, especially around this kind of personalization layer that we're building, and it becomes a huge issue for a lot of our clients as well as everyone else to make sure that it is safe and that their information isn't just going to be publicly made available. So we're extremely careful as to how our systems are built. That's why we have things like our bug bounties. It's why we have security experts. It's why we make sure that all of the code we build has the privacy and security of the end user in mind first. Um, so thanks for that. Good question. Just a reminder, guys, there's no rewards this week. This is general AMA, so it's just an opportunity to ask me, anything that you want that's been on your mind as part of the project this week. We'll be doing a big community call um, the week after the announcement. So 2 weeks from today. So that will be on the 19th of November, which will have some, big rewards for questions. But for today, no more. There won't be any particular rewards. All right, let's put up the next question. Okay, so mm, uh, Bonabo Lewis again. What inspired the creation of Sensei, and what gap do you think it fills in today's social space? Very nice question. Thank you. So, for those who have been following us for a while, know that I wrote a couple of books based around digital immortality. So this concept of mind uploading and creating a virtual copy of myself, as a way of extending myself beyond my physical body and biological capabilities. That those books really kind of resonated with me for a long time as something that I would like to build, as something that I would like to do as the future of myself, the future opportunity that is out there for us as a human race, because it's very sad that we've got to a stage of civilization where we forget people after two, maybe three generations. So how can we actually capture those stories, capture those memories, actually pass them on to future generations who will have the availability to interact with us on a very personal level, even after we're long gone, in a way that you would love to get to know your great grandparents or further back. So we are the first generation that have this data about us, these photos, videos, these digital footprints, which can be combined into this fundamentally into a knowledge base, into a wisdom engine that can then be deployed and actually interacted with for years to come. So Sensei started off with that principle, but we wanted to make it commercially viable to start off with. So we looked at different avenues, different verticals that we could apply it to. We realized there were over 100 different verticals that this could be applied to, and so we're really narrowing that down into the first two or three that we should work on first before we can expand it into some of the bigger ones. That's where these chatbots for businesses, this API, and this new product really fit into that, because by building a sustainable commercial business on B2B software first, what it does is it gives us the flexibility and freedom to really explore how we enter that death tech and afterlife tech market properly, which includes all of the sort of virtual humans and digital assistants and everything else. So yeah, that's the story behind Sensei. Next question from Danchel. How does Sensei plan to stay human-centered as AI becomes more common online? Um, so I think this, I'm not sure what this intent behind this really is, but we basically we talk about ourselves as the human experts behind AI. It's it's about adding that humanity back into the AI. And that's what we like to do. We like to add the personality, the humanity, the personalization, the customization back into what we're actually trying to build. So it's not just another generic AI chatbot. It's not just a a boring conversation that you have. It actually has that personality, has that style, has that voice, has that wisdom and knowledge, and actually making that available to people through generations. It becomes all we're doing is not using AI to replace us, not using it to um, be there. We use it as an extension of ourselves cross generation, and that's where it becomes really important for us. On the other reading of this question, it's even today, like I was, flicking through YouTube, I think for a few minutes as a bit of a distraction. And, the amount of AI generated content that's already coming through is incredible. Sora from OpenAI has really, changed the game on this. And I think the more that the algorithms realize people like to watch some of these videos that they can't tell are fake, the more they're going to promote them. And so the difficulty with that is you end up with the what is called the dead internet theory. The dead internet theory is basically that there comes a point with AI where the vast majority of content um, is generated by AI. Like you could search like bad chiropractor on by Sora on YouTube, and you're going to see like some hilarious videos about what happens. But there comes a time where that is 90% of our feed, probably more, 99% of our feed, and there's nothing we can really do to stop seeing that, because the algorithm is just going to promote it more and more, because the video is going to be more and more like what we want to see. Dogs rescuing people and babies doing crazy shit. There's a real opportunity. There's a real like change in terms of how we perceive content and take content, and what happens then, it becomes more of a psychological problem. Like, do we then just switch off from the internet? Do we just go back to face-to-face contact, or do we just ignore it and just basically absorb all this like fake content? um, I think one of the ways you can tell that this is not an AI today is just because I have a bit of a cold, if you can hear it. So you kind of, there'll be indicators of when you're actually talking to a real person. But for the vast majority of people, it's going to become more and more difficult to actually understand what's real and what's not. All right, I think we've got time for one more question. From Sonkieta Rahim Alex Drago. There's a real market in France for generating LinkedIn comments and posts, as well as for community management. I'd even say it's global. So basically, consent be used for this. Um, so fundamentally, we actually have one of our first API customers called Coles, KOLZ, that actually has built out a Twitter poster and a LinkedIn poster. So they use Sensei's API to use the same training system, use the same output system and the API. So in theory, you can use our API to build that yourself, or you could use one of these other projects that are being built on top of Sensei and generating traffic for us that are that are capable of already doing this for you. So yes, I mean, in a convoluted way, yes, it can. Yes, it can be doing this, both in terms of community management directly from Sensei and the social posting via our partners. So yes, the technology can be used for that, and that's where we really see a huge amount of opportunity, especially when it comes to personal branding and company branding. And I think Google just released a new product this week or maybe last week around essentially a brand tool for new companies so that they can basically put in their brand style, it creates tone of voice, creates a personality, and also helps the post. But that level of personalization we really do very well at. So it is definitely possible to do it with us, and that's something we excel in quite a lot. So thank you for the question, some Kieta. So guys, like I said, we've got a big announcement on Monday the 10th of November. Please do check it out. Thank you for your questions today. We'll try and answer more in outside of the chat as well, so we can actually get around to replying to everyone. If you do have any other questions in the meantime ahead of the launch, reach out to us on Telegram or Twitter. The handle is at Ask Sensei, or you can find myself at Sensei Dan, and we'll try and reply to as many as we can in the meantime. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. Thank you for the comments, and thank you for supporting the project as always. We are really working on as hard as we can to get things back on track. And with this new launch, we're expecting massive things to come. So yeah, so please do keep your eye out for the big announcement on Monday, and we're excited to show you what we're working on. But for now, thank you very much.
Buddy, you're